So I'm Cristina Palomares. I work for MARSBASED. We are a small software agency, and inside ANERIS, we are the technical partners that are working on AWIMAR. So let me see if this works. Okay, now. So AWIMAR is the adaptive web interface for marine life reporting, sharing, and consulting. It fits inside the Work Package 4 for participatory technologies. Let me explain, give you a nutshell of what AWIMAR is. So I believe that some of you already know Minca. AWIMAR is the web part of the Minca Participatory Citizen Observatory, and it's focused on observations related to the Sustainable Development Goals. Currently, AWIMAR reports biodiversity observations, but very soon we will address other types of observations that will allow to report environmental data such as temperature, air pollution, water transparency, or any other ones. So it will cover more of these SDGs. It is the first citizen observatory to report data that address these SDGs. Currently, as I said, AWIMAR addresses two of these goals, life below water and life on land. But in the future, we will cover more once we incorporated these environmental data observations. Okay, and to put you a little bit on place for those of you that are not familiar with citizen science and observatories, I will be really brief describing these two concepts so you have a better background when going forward with the AWIMAR functionalities. So citizen science, also known as participatory science, creates a bridge between science and society. And the idea is to expand the frontiers of research and public engagement. So they are a couple together. The idea is that make real citizens participate in the outcomes of science. And what is a citizen observatory? So the citizen science infrastructure in Europe take the name of citizen observatories, and AWIMAR is a research infrastructure. It's a citizen observatory that addresses these SDGs that I already mentioned. In general, citizen observatories are a community-based environmental monitoring and information system that invite individuals to share observations. And basically, they are characterized by these 4 points that I have here. Participation of citizens in environmental monitoring and governance, a bidirectional flow data of information, citizen-generated observations in situ, so citizens can upload their information at the moment, and the user of modern mobile and web technologies. And now that I have introduced that, let me explain to you how does AWIMAR works for real. Okay, so the basic idea is that I as a citizen, I register observations, taking photos of marine and terrestrial organisms. I upload them to AWIMAR. I share them with the AWIMAR community inside a project or not related to a project. There are a different bunch of ways or things that you can do with your observations once they have uploaded. And then some community interaction starts on AWIMAR, and users are able to share their views, and they can identify observations of other users and so on and so forth. The idea is that these observations will be also validated by experts and will reach the research grade in citizen science. And then these observations can be uploaded to global repositories where they could be used for investigation, for further investigation studies. Okay, and what can be done exactly? So, as I said, you can record your observations and save the data in the cloud. You can keep track of your observations. You can have favorites. You have the knowledge always accessible. Then you can connect with the rest of the community. This will help to validate and improve your observations, learn about new projects, learn about other species or other knowledge that you're not made aware of. And this is the part of learning, because you will increase your knowledge about biodiversity and with species identification, environment, and so on. Of course, this contributes to science, because the observations will be validated by the community and they will reach this research grade that I introduced before. You can create projects inside Minka, and there are different ways of doing it. So I will show you later on the demo. But basically, this allows to organize and somehow put together observations of several users, either by geographic zone or other criteria that can be set when creating a project. And this allows to have a better perspective on some specific aspect that the project is focused on. Okay, so basically, really fast. I don't want to be really technical or really specific or go into a lot of details on the specifics, but you upload. So first of all, you take the photograph of the organism, animals, plants, whatever, marine species, whatever that you have found. Then you upload these photos to AWIMAR. Ideally, with these photos need to be geolocated, and then the time and the date when the picture was taken, and then there are like different things that could happen. If the user that has uploaded the photo can identify it, then he can add the identification. If he is not able to do so, he can upload the observation, and then the collaborative identification process starts, and then different users can help to identify the observation, the organism that appears on the picture. Now the observation, after this process, the observation is identified, and then the community-based validation starts, where data curators or experts users of the community also give their opinion about whether the identification is correct, or they think that another organism is represented in the observation. After that, the observation achieved after several after several identifications. Basically, three people need to agree on the same identification, and then the observation reaches the research grade, and then the observation is uploaded to the global repositories, and it's ready to use by the scientific community. Okay, and this is a little bit more of what I already explained. I will not go into detail on that, because I already explained that in the previous slide. Okay, so some technical aspects that you may know about AWIMAR. The first one, that will explain the rest, is that AWIMAR, Minka, is a fork of eNaturalis. This was done in 2021. And eNaturalis was an open source project. This means that we have a bunch of technologies right now that are living together on the application. So for the backend, we have Ruby 3 and Rails 6. In frontend, we have both React and Angular. And for templating, we use ARB and HTML. And then as for the API that supports the application, it's developed using Node 16 and Express. And then also behind both the API and the app and the website app, we have some Elasticsearch, Redis, Postgres, SQL, and PostGIS. So we have a little bit of everything, probably because, as I said, the application, this is a fork of eNaturalis. It was an open source project, and technologies were being introduced without thinking really about the future maintenance of the application. The good thing is that it's an old project, but it's updated in terms of version. We have done some updates inside the project to at least maintain these technologies working with the last versions. But this is also a challenge because every time we do an update, it's not as easy as in other applications. Also, another challenge that we have is that there is no coherence in frontend because the application is using Angular and React, and moving to either one of the technologies will be really time-consuming. So at the time, this is not an option to do so inside the project. And also there is non-UI, so there are a lot of occurrences to the same functionality. And when you do some changes, you have to somehow do the same change in different parts of the application, which is not the best. But as I said, improving that will take a lot of time, and it's out of the scope of the project. Okay, so what we have been doing for the last year and a half, basically. First of all, we have integrated marine taxonomic icons and profiles. So now Minka is not ready only for land organisms, but also for it has a specific taxonomy for marine organisms too. We have created a prototype to include environmental variables. We did some changes in the login mechanism to integrate an identity provider. So the login will be shared with other related services. This is done, but not yet in production. We will release it in the next couple of weeks. And lots of bug fixes and small improvements through the application to make it much more robust to the end user. Okay, and now let me show you the application, the Minka website. Okay, so I will change my screen. You are still seeing everything, right?
Yes, we can see your browser.
Perfect. Okay, so give me 1 second. Okay, so I'm already logging. Okay, I use this Minka tutor that has almost all the permits on the application. Different users have different roles, and the roles can be changed by either uploading more observations or by contacting directly to the other curators, and then they achieve different roles inside the application. Okay, so here we have like the typical inbox notification system. The particularity is that we also have a menu for identifications. I don't have anything here now, but if some user has identified some of my observations, this will be notified to me, so I'm pretty aware of what is going on with my observations. And then on the top menu, we have different options. First of all, we can explore the observations. This is not my particular observations, but the observations that have been entered by all the community. I will show you the map view that is much more interesting. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so there is even a heat map of all the observations. Okay, and let me show you. For instance, I can do some search for this one, and then I will focus on Barcelona. Okay, and then it will appear here the observations that are related to that, and it will mark the area where the observations have appeared. If I go up, I will see the specific places where the identifications have been found. You can visualize this in different ways, okay, grid or list, whatever you prefer. Another interesting thing here is that we have the filters, so the users can really customize what they want to search for in the whole AWIMAR Minka database. Okay, then if I go here, I will find a similar page than the previous one, but it's focused on my observations, the ones that I have uploaded into Minka. And on community, you will see, first of all, the people. Okay, this will show different rankings about the users of the community and different metrics. And one interesting thing is the projects that I explained before. Oh, so from this page, we can see all the projects that have been recently active. You can search for them. You can have the option to manage your projects. Okay, in this case, I have a test project that has some data, but I will show you how to create a project so you see what happens. So there are two types of projects. I will create a collection project with where basically you can set different criteria, and then the observations that fit the criteria will be automatically part of the project. Okay, so I will do so, test 2 as name of the project, and then I will add some criteria here, for instance, that I want to include taxa only of this species, and then there are a bunch of different criteria, like what places are you interested of some specific users, if you want the observations to have a specific annotation, and so on and so forth. Data quality, if you are only interested on research grade or whatever. Also the same for dates. Well, different criteria. Also for the members, you can decide who can join the project, who not, etc. Okay. So the only criteria that I have set for now is that the species of this project need to be of this Elasmo branch class. Then I will say, oops, sorry, I forgot to enter the description. Description. Okay. Now it's saving. Okay. Now I'm inside my test 2 projects, and I see that some observations have already been added automatically to the project. Okay. This is especially interesting if you are working on some area that you want to focus on, or you want to track some species. Yeah, it allows this kind of putting together some data set that you are interested in, or the community might be interested in. Okay, so this is for the projects. Then here in the identify menu, I will see all the observations that I have not identified, okay? Again, you can filter and use several criteria to contribute and identify the observations that you feel more confident, either because it's your area, because it's an area that you know about, or because you are an expert of some specific species or other criteria that you can set using the filters. And okay, so when you upload observations, you need to drag and drop the photos, okay? And then let me download one photo because the one I had has been removed. Okay, now I have my photo here. I can drag and drop it. Okay, and then basically when I upload a photo, I'm asked to give the name of the species if I know it. In my case, I don't know it. The date, let's place it as today, and the location, and let's simulate that it's Barcelona. Okay. Okay, then I can submit the observation. It's telling me that I don't have and that I have not entered an species. If I'm okay with that, I will say that I'm okay. Okay, and now it is part of my observations, okay? And let me show you how a real observation looks like and all the interaction that can be done inside it. Okay, so this is an observation of the user that I'm currently logged in. Here you can see all the media. If there are more photos, you will be able to browse them here. The place where it has been found, also the data, when it was submitted, when it was observed. And then we have some activity and the community taxon, which is the most interesting part. For the activity, we have all the interaction that the community has been doing inside this observation. So, for instance, we have here that this user suggested this ID, and then myself, this user also suggested it, and as both users agree on the identification, we can say that the quality grade is already research, okay? If something was missing for it to be research grade, it will be shown on this table. What are the criteria that are not met, so the user can correct or provide further information to finally achieve the research grade. And really brief, let me show you the dashboard that the users see when they are logged in. So you have basically a summary of all the interactions or all the things that interest you inside Minka. So basically, if some user that you have been following has added an observation, or if some favorite is, or if some observation has been added for some favorite species of yours, or for some species that you are following, if identifications have been done or comments have been done on your observations, and so on and so forth. Okay, there are several ways that the user can choose what information they want to be aware of in Minka, and then you can have like different filters over this information. Okay, so observations and edit is basically with what we have already seen. And then in the calendar, if I go a couple of years ago, okay, you will see here, for instance, that there are some, so the idea is that you can see this allows you to have an overview or when the observations have been uploaded by you. It's a fast way to access observations for a specific period of time. And yeah, so these are the identifications that have the identifications that I have been doing on the application. And favorites allows you to mark, it's a summary of the things that you have been favoriting over the application and you want to be, that you want to track inside Minka. And finally, the projects, which contains a summary of the projects that you have been, that you are the owner of, or that you have joined. Okay, and that is pretty much about Minka. There are a lot of functionalities. This was just a really brief tour over the application. It's you can go like really deep. There is also the taxonomy part that I didn't show, or the places part, but I don't have that much spare time to do so. But if you are interested, the URL of Minka is inside the presentation, and of course, feel free to look into it and ask any doubts now or later on. Okay, so let me go back to my presentation. Here we are. Okay, so what is the future for Minka? First of all, we want to replace Google Maps by Open Street View. This is really important because Minka is self-sustained, and Google Maps is the Google Maps API makes you to pay by use. So it's something that we really need to. It's something that we really need to do as soon as possible. Then, of course, we will integrate Minka with other applications, like Amobali for the for the artificial intelligence services to help identify species, also IS for species segmentation, and also ANERIS for automatic image restoration services. And the third goal is to work on the second version of environmental variables.